program this evening, please welcome to the stage at this time the Associate Director of Bands of Blythewood High School, Mr. Jonathan Burbank. Two Honor Band. The band is comprised of high school band students from Blythewood High School, Richland Northeast High School, Richland High School, and Spring Valley High School, and is under the direction of the band directors from each of our high schools. This evening's concert will pay tribute to the men and women who have protected our nation's freedom for over the past 230 years. In particular, we'll pay homage to the men and women that have served our country on December 7, 1941, the day that President Franklin Roosevelt referred to as a day that will live in infamy. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of colors by the Spring Valley High School Air Force Junior ROTC and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem.
On December 7, 1941, American Armed Forces stationed in Hawaii were the subject of a surprise attack that started at 7:55 a.m. and lasted for 110 minutes. Japanese military forces had been planning this attack since January of 1941 under the code name Operation Hawaii, which was later changed to Operation Z. The Japanese purposely chose to attack on Sunday because they believed the Americans would be more relaxed and thus less alert on a weekend. Jay Bocook's At Dawn They Slept is a musical remembrance of that fateful day that launched our country into World War II. Opening with a beautiful melody that is reminiscent of that Sunday morning, we then hear the lone bugler with the ominous undertones foretelling the chaos that would soon follow. To conduct At Dawn They Slept, please welcome to the podium the Director of Bands at Spring Valley High School, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Allison. The attack on Pearl Harbor resulted in the deaths of 2,335 United States servicemen and women and 68 civilians. In remembrance of these men and women, the Richland Two Honor Band will now perform the Navy hymn, Eternal Father, Strong to Save. As our students perform this moving arrangement, please keep in mind the following words traditionally associated with its first verse. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep its own appointed limits keep. O hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. To conduct this solemn work, we now welcome to the stage the Director of Bands of Blythewood High School, Mr. Glenn Funderburg. O beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. These are the words to the fourth stanza of Catherine Lee Bates' poem, which was entitled America and published in 1895 in the July 4th edition of a church periodical called The Congregationalists. In 2001, these words were tearfully spoken by former CBS newsman Dan Rather when he appeared in the first taping of Late Night with David Letterman just after the attacks of September 11th, 2001.
support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. We will not waver, we will not tire, we will not falter, and we will not fail. Peace and freedom will prevail. All gave some gave all.
No one event better symbolizes the indomitable spirit of the United States military than the invasion of Normandy in June of 1944. Soldiers who participated in this event will be forever known as members of the greatest amphibious invasion force in the history of the world. Over 50 years after this event, in 1998, Tom Hanks starred in and Steven Spielberg directed the epic war film Saving Private Ryan. It depicted the Normandy invasion and the subsequent mission to find Private First Class James Francis Ryan and returning home safely to his family. Please welcome to the stage to conduct Hymn to the Fallen, the Director of Bands at Richland Northeast High School. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jerry Davis.
Dear Mom and Dad, I woke this morning at 07:30. Mo, Heavy, York, and myself had a golf match scheduled and planned to leave the ship at 09:30. I lay sleepy-eyed in my bunk for some time. At 7:45, the general alarm sounded and was followed by a wayfire and rescue party. Suddenly, the general alarm sounded again, and simultaneously, a terrific explosion rocked the ship. Vale, Hine, and I looked at each other. "This is war," said Pete, and started topside on the double. I headed for sky control, but it was tough going, as the ship listed heavily to port almost immediately. On reaching the second level in the mast, I met several men coming down. All communications and transmission to the guns had been launched with the first explosion. Pearl Harbor was a devastating sight. The forward of the USS West Virginia and the USS Oklahoma lay bottom up. And board of her, the USS Maryland was putting up a tremendous volume of fire. I wondered what the rum-rum noise was, and suddenly realized it to be the Maryland's 1-1 guns, which proved extremely effective. Astern of us, the USS Arizona was a mass of flame. The sky was rapidly filling with AA fire, but high-altitude Japanese bombers flew directly overhead in perfect formation. They came in waves, 5 to each formation. During this time, Hank, Freddie White, and Mr. Jeff Johnson had been directing the guns. When we fired the last of our 30 rounds, everyone left the boat deck, and, on order from Mr. Ricketts, we went over to the side to aid the manning of the USS Tennessee batteries, which were doing a splendid job. We had been under attack for 15 minutes at this time, and the harbor was a living hell. Astern of us, the Arizona's forward magazine had blown up. The Vestal alongside of her had been hit squarely amidships. Smoke was spreading rapidly over the harbor. Very shortly, the day became as black as night. It was terrifying beyond means of description.
Dear sis, it is now 9:05 Sunday morning and we've been bombed for over an hour. Our anti-aircraft guns are yammering and ever so often a bomb strikes so close as to rock this ship. Again, a bomb. We're helpless down here in the forward engine room because our main engines are all torn down. There is only a handful of us down here and most of our men are ashore on liberty. They really caught us sleeping this time. For a ship being in the Navy Yard for overhaul, we're putting up a good fight. The first officer has come down here now to take charge. We lift up all the boilers that are not out of commission and we are trying to get underway so that we will not be altogether helpless by lying alongside the dock and be a stationary target. Those bombs are getting closer. God grant they do not hit the loaded oil tanker that is lying right across from us. 10 millions of gallons of fuel will bathe the ship in inferno of fire. I don't know why I'm writing writing this because if we are hit with a bomb here, they won't find enough for me and the rest this alone as this letter. I imagine it is to show myself that I can be calm under pressure. A few of the boys here are white faced and their voices hushed and choked. They too know that this is no joke or mock battle, but the real stuff. Who thought they would strike in such a manner when most men were ashore and spending their payday on those traditional Saturday night sprees? They will dare not to attack us, let alone Pearl Harbor, the mightiest and fortified base in the world. They could not get within 1,000 miles of this place before we know it. They dare not, but they did. There is another lull in all the sporadic bursts in our pom-poms. Preparations to get underway are still continuing. It seems impossible with all the machinery torn up, but we still do all we can. The order has now come to secure from German quarters. We are under fire for nearly 2 hours, and I'm going to sneak up the top side to see what happens.
Dear Ma and Pa, I answered your cable as soon as I got it, but the telegraph company had some trouble finding me, being as I wasn't in the barracks like I used to be. I'm okay though and being treated fine. You said you wanted to know all about what happened. Some things are a little hazy in my mind, but I'll tell you all I can remember. Of course you know it was Sunday morning, and Slim Clark and I had each gotten us a new pair of shoes, and being Sunday and off duty, we were going to break them in. So we said so long to the gang in the barracks, and we started moving it across the parade ground. About halfway across, Slim kneels down to tie up a shoelace, and I stood there looking around and sort of wondering how you folks are getting along at home, and what you're doing, and so forth and so on. I remember that the sun was shining, church bells ringing, everything was peaceful and comfortable, except my shoes. They felt sort of tight. Then I thought I heard something. The sound was like when you hear bees humming soft and drowsy, like we used to hear the bees among the hollyhocks when we crossed the meadow and back of the barn. Slim took a squint up into the sky, and then he says, "Hey, get a load of that," and I do. Well, folks, they look just like they sounded. Bees, high up, away about 5 miles. Slim stood up and says, "Where'd they come from?" I said, "I guess it's some of our bunch on maneuvers." Well, I remember they'd gotten bigger by now, and were coming in pretty fast, like they really was going places, you know what I mean? Then they peeled off into a dive, and it looked like they were heading right for Slim and me. I remember it felt kind of funny watching them. Just then, Slim grabs me in the ribs and says, "Hey, what's the deal? Look," and 5 or 6 black stubby little pencils. That's just what they looked like. Were driving towards us. Well, folks, that's how it started. All hell busted wide open. The noise was like 10,000 factories gone nuts. Quicker than I can tell you, a bomb blows up in the barracks with the gang in it. A ship explodes in front of me. A hangar goes up in flames, and so on and so forth. Slim shouted to me, and we started running to our gun posts. I remember those shoes sure pinched. We ducked and we dodged, and we fell flat on our faces when they came over low to machine gun us. Finally, I get to the gun. Slim didn't. He was such a good guy. I don't remember anything after that. They tell me a bomb landed nearby, and I'm lucky to be alive. Looks like I won't have to worry about shoes anymore, seeing how I've lost both my legs. But don't worry, the doc tells me that I can be out of here in a few months. I can see some of Pearl from my hospital window, at least what's left of it. We lost a lot of good men.
For over 230 years, the men and women of our armed forces have courageously defended the United States of America. They continue to walk the line for our nation from the DMZ in Korea to the mountains of Afghanistan. The debt of gratitude we owe these brave Americans cannot be measured. With a tribute in song, let us remember those who have served and those who continue to serve with the performance of Bob Lowden's Armed Forces Salute. We invite any current service members present and all veterans to please stand when your service song is played. We also invite those of you that have family members that have served or are presently serving to stand in honor or in memory of your loved ones. To conduct the Armed Forces Salute, we now welcome to the stage the Director of Bands at Ridgeview High School, Mr. Vince Clayton.
The United States Army. United States Marine Corps. United States Air Force. The United States Navy.
Symbolic of flag waving in general, the Stars and Stripes Forever has been used with considerable effectiveness to generate patriotic feeling ever since its introduction in Philadelphia on May 14, 1897. On December 11, 1987, President Ronald Reagan signed into law Federal Bill S-860, which states, "Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that the composition by John Philip Sousa entitled The Stars and Stripes Forever is hereby designated as the National March of the United States." Under Mr. Clayton's direction, the Richland Two Honor Band will now close tonight's performance with John Philip Sousa's The Stars and Stripes Forever.